Hello, YouTube everybody's. How are you? I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. It is Black Friday of 2022, and although there's a few things that I kind of need, I'm like, do I really want to go out? So instead, I'm working on a little project making these little Christmas ornaments. Aren't they cute? And you start off with a circle and manipulate them, and but that's what sewing is about, illusion. But I wanted to tell you a story about when I was pregnant with my daughter. And oh, look, oh, I look younger now. Ooh. Anyway, that was a very tough pregnancy because I basically told no one that I was pregnant. I went to family planning somewhere in Planned Parenthood or something on a Monday and got confirmation that you're pregnant. And I'm like, I'm 35 years old. What am I thinking? Anyway, I beat myself up about the pregnancy, but told nobody. So that was on a Monday. Tuesday, I get a job from Human Resources at the Air Force Base where I was working. Now, the Air Force Human Resources at that time had a really good system that if they go through your resume and your military stuff and everything, and then they will put in job descriptions had like a number code. So because when I was in the military, I was a heavy equipment operator, forklift operator, and so they had called me on Tuesday, the next day, and they go, there is an opening for a forklift operator. It was a wage grade, I don't even remember. And you qualify. You're at the top of the list. Do you want the job? And it pays such and such money. And I go, it was a 22% pay increase. Now, I loved doing my secretarial work. I loved it. I was good at it. I had a high security clearance, blah, blah, blah. But 22%. And I'm a single mom and a baby. And I'm like, yeah, I am. So I had to go in and talk to my dear supervisor. He lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, and I told him not only about the job, I had to tell him about the baby too, like my reasonings why. And he was flabbergasted. Not that I got pregnant. They would have been very supportive about it. But I said, Colonel, I said, it's a pay increase. I have to go. He goes, no, we understand, and they gave me a nice send off, and I had the job. Oh, no, I rewind a little bit. I told HR, I said, well, your timing's a little off because I literally just learned yesterday that I'm pregnant. And she goes, oh, well, let me check with the other higher ups and see if that's going to be an issue. And of course, that time waiting for her to call back, I just knew that, oh, you're pregnant, you cannot take this job. And she calls back and she goes, well, as long as you get a no from your doctor, we don't care. We can't discriminate against you. And I went, oh, and there it was in this 24-hour time frame. This job came around. So I had there was actually several positions, and I had you did one interview for all these positions, and I didn't say anything to the supervisor I was interviewing with, and anyway, he had picked me, and of course several other people. And I technically, because it was a mixed civilian military job atmosphere and everything. And so when I got hired on, of course, you had to wear safety boots. This is important to the storyline. So they gave me a check to go down to supply, and the Air Force gave me boots. Okay, great. Didn't have to pay for them. So the ballistic missile office gave me a really nice send-off, and I felt really bad, and but it is what it is. So when I spoke to my new supervisor, who was active duty Air Force, like a E6 or 7, I said, well, now that you hired me, and he was so very cute, I said, I need to let you know, and Human Resources already knows, I am newly pregnant. And he goes, oh. And I said, I had the doctor's note. I typed the damn thing up myself, had to hurry up and find an OBGYN. And I said, here, just sign this. And the doctor goes, okay. Didn't even ask questions, just signed it. Anyway, I said, I have no intentions of telling anybody I am pregnant. It's nobody's business. And okay, well, that was during the early part of 1989, like winter. So you were still wearing coats. And I wasn't really showing yet. And I didn't start showing until May, when it was starting to get warm. So I kept wearing the jacket, and everybody was like, what are you wearing the jacket for? Yeah, ain't none of your business. Well, it got to the point I had to take the jacket off to do my job, because we were in Southern California in May. It was hot. And there's my belly, and everybody's going, she got a belly. Are you pregnant? Yes, I'm pregnant. Okay? Baby is due in September. Okay. So I came to work every day. I drove the forklifts. If it was something super heavy, I asked for help, to move, because we handled cargo. So it was boxes of stuff moving from here to there, here to there. And we had to take these big, heavy nets. If you ever see military planes with pallets of cargo on it, that's what I packed. And those chains were like 40 pounds each, or 45, I can't remember. And you had to toss them over the boxes of stuff. It was big. I could not believe, by the time I delivered, I could not believe that baby survived that pregnancy. So anyway, the last 2 weeks of my pregnancy, week to 2 weeks, I could not bend over because the baby had started to drop. I could not bend over to tie my boots. I did okay up to that point, but the last 2 weeks were just So I did a big no-no, and this was literally like my daughter was born on a Tuesday, and I was still working that Friday. And that, but the last, I want to say week or 2 weeks, I could not lace up my boots, my steel toe boots. And but I was doing mostly office work, but still I was out in the warehouse. And this one Air Force sergeant, he was like the second in command. He had noticed, where's your boots? I said, I can't tie them up. Are you going to lace them up for me? Here, let me put my foot out there. You lace them. I'm not going to lace them up. You got to lace them up. Well, I can't. Well, you pregnant people think that you're all, and he's just going on and on. In the meantime, like right about the time I delivered, no, it was maybe a month before I delivered my daughter. He finds out that his wife is pregnant. Okay, good God. And his wife was so sweet. And the poor thing, the wife had gotten into a car accident. She was driving and somebody T-boned her. And she literally, when she was about, I think she was halfway through the pregnancy, they literally had to do some kind of surgery, take her spleen out or something while she was pregnant. Her pregnancy, sadly, was one of the most medically difficult ones I had ever heard about because of the car accident, of course. He had to do everything for her. The husband, who was my supervisor. And there was a question whether the baby was going to be okay when it was born. Of course, she had to have a C-section. The baby was early. I mean, it was sadly so touch and go. And I felt so bad for her. I didn't feel bad for him because he was razzing me all the time. Well, at one point after the baby was born, thankfully the baby was okay, by the way. Thankfully, the baby was born, and he finally came up to me, and he goes, I want to apologize to you. He goes, I had no idea how difficult pregnancy could be. I should have helped you out. And I was like, thank you. That was a big surprise, but I'm like, even now, when my daughter was pregnant, I worried every day for her through her 3 pregnancies. But that kind of ignorance, he did apologize. And I don't know if he ever felt that his wife's, difficulties was a karma thing because of what happened. But it's like, pregnancy's tough. We just don't go out to the rice field, have the baby, go back to work. It doesn't work that way. So, I thought I'd share that story. So we will talk soon.